Anyhow, should I redo the Jaidwani? Oh my god, I'm such a space case. Okay, I'm going to do a very quick Jaidwani. Since I just did the full one, I'm not going to do the full one again. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Saprasad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi Ki Jai. Shri Varuthini Akarashi Titi Ki Jai. Akarashi Titi Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. See, if you see my screen right here, I had these all switched off, and then I started the program. I did the full Jaidwani and everything. So, and then once I finished Jaidwani, I realized that I hadn't turned these. I was wondering where everybody was, and then I looked here and I saw that they were all switched off. Anyhow. All right, let's start. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yang Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedu Stang Sarva Bhuta Hridaya Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Ridantasto Yabatrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavaivasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Kshiptashtakamaaditaranga Kripa Maitam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Alright, let me open up. Oh, and just really quickly, let me see who's all here. Dandavat Pranams, Gargaraj Ji, Ganga Didi, and Rup Manjari Didi, And Madhavi Didi Dandavat Pranams. Haribol. Just 1 second. Okay. Oops. Okay. All right. Let's just do. So, just bring us up to where we are right now. 1 second. So we read about the appearance of Pṛthu and Archi. After turning the 2 arms of King Vane, a male and female appear. The sages spoke. Pṛthu and Archi are partial representations of the Lord and his eternal consort Lakshmi. Then the demigods celebrate Pṛthu's appearance. Brahma confirms that Pṛthu is the Lord's partial representation. Then there's the coronation of Pṛthu, and all the presentation. He's given various personalities come and offer gifts to King Pṛthu, and what is it? Kubera gives him a royal throne, Varuna an umbrella, Vayu 2 chamars, Dharma flower garland, Indra an excellent crown, Yama a scepter to rule the world, Brahma armor made of spiritual knowledge, Saraswati transcendental necklace, Hari Sudarshan chakra, Lakshmi imperishable opulences, Lord Shiva a sword marked with 10 moons, Durga a shield marked with 100 moons, Soma horse made of nectar, Vishvakarma beautiful chariot, Agni bow made of horns and goats and cows, Surya arrows as brilliant as the sunshine, Bhumi magical slippers that can float around, take him around everywhere. Demigods, they shower flowers on him again and again, I guess. Or they offer him flowers. Kechara, drama, singing music, and the power to disappear. That's really cool. Sages, infallible blessings. Ocean gives him the conch. Seas, mountains, rivers give him a path for his chariot. And the bards offer prayers and praises. And then Pṛthu dissuades the bards. He said that I haven't actually displayed any of these qualities, so don't, if I don't display these qualities, then your words will go in vain. So it's better they be offered to someone else. Glorify me in the future when I do exhibit those qualities. And he said, better you glorify the Supreme Lord. Anyways. Then the bards double down and continue to glorify Pṛthu Maharaj. Pleased by Pṛthu's humility, the bards continued to praise him, for they have taste for glorifying his activities, and they were encouraged by the sages. And then King Pṛthu manifests the good qualities of the demigods. Pṛthu upholds Dharma and acts like the demigods. Pṛthu's actions are compared with the demigods, then various qualities of King Pṛthu, and the prediction of Pṛthu's activities, future activities. This is everything that the bards were saying. These were the ways. And then, this is what we read yesterday. Pṛthu offers gifts and gives respects to all and satisfies them. Oh wait, so Vidura inquires about Pṛthu, and then, oh god, whatever. Okay, then King Pṛthu chastises the earth in the form of a cow. Let's just read from this. Okay. So then, after being glorified by the bards, Pṛthu satisfied them with gifts, worshipped them, and glorified them. He offered his respects to the leaders of the Brahmins and other castes, his servants, his ministers, priests, citizens, admirers, and others. Then Vidura here's Vidura's questions to Maitreya about Pṛthu. Why did the earth take the form of a cow? Who became the calf? And what was the milking pot while Pṛthu Maharaj was milking the earth? How did Pṛthu make the uneven earth flat? Why did Indra steal the sacrificial horse? What destination did Pṛthu attain after receiving Gyan and Vigyan from Sanat Kumar? Please narrate all the glorious topics of King Pṛthu, which are pleasing to hear and produce all good fortune. And you can see here all these questions are answered. So this first question is answered in this chapter that we're reading now. The next question, the next two questions will be answered in the next chapter. Anyways, you see here. If anybody wants this PDF, I sent it to a few of you, but if anybody else wants it, send me a message and I can send it to you. Then Maitreya begins to answer. Being inspired and pleased with Vidura's inquiries about the Lord's topics, Maitreya praised Vidura and spoke as follows. After being enthroned, King Pṛthu, the protector of the citizens, was approached by the suffering citizens who were starving due to scarcity of food grains. They informed him of their situation as follows. We are suffering from great hunger and have come to take shelter of you, who are a worthy shelter, the master of our livelihood, and the protector of the citizens. Therefore, please arrange to satisfy our hunger. Hearing the citizens' lamentation, King Pṛthu contemplated for a long time and discovered the reason. Pṛthu concluded that the earth was not producing sufficient food grains. Concluding like this, the king became very angry like Lord Shiva, and took his bow and aimed it at the earth. Seeing King Pṛthu with his raised bow, the earth trembled out of fear, and taking the form of a cow, ran away like a deer pursued by a hunter. Seeing this, Maharaj Pṛthu became very angry and chased the cow-shaped earth wherever she fled in outer space. The earth saw the king with his raised bow behind her at all places. Just as a man could not escape death, the earth could not escape Pṛthu. Then she turned to him in helplessness. That's where we read up to. Dandavat pranams, Raseshwari Mataji and Pradyumna Prabhu. Pradyumna is asking, did he fly with those slippers? Maybe. Probably put on his magic shoes. Okay. Uvacha cha mahabhagam dharma gyapana vatsala trahimam api bhutanam palane vastito bhavan. Addressing the great opulent King Pṛthu as the knower of religious principles and shelter of the surrendered, she, Mother Earth, said, Please save me. You are the protector of all living entities. Now you are situated as the king of this planet. Purport. The cow-shaped earth addressed King Pṛthu as Dharmagya, which refers to one who knows the principles of religion. The principles of religion dictate that a woman, a cow, a child, a Brahman, and an old man must be given all protection by a king or anyone else. Consequently, Mother Earth took the shape of a cow. She was also a woman. Thus she appealed to the king as one who knows the principles of religion. Religious principles also dictate that one is not to be killed if he surrenders. She reminded King Pṛthu that not only was she an incarnation of God, that he was an incarnation of God, but he was situated as the king of the earth as well. Therefore his duty was to excuse her. Satam je gangshase kasma dinam akrita kil visham ahanishyat katam yosham dharmagya itiyo mata. The cow-shaped earth continued to appeal to the king. I am very poor and have not committed any sinful activities. I do not know why you want to kill me. Since you are supposed to be the knower of all religious principles, why are you so envious of me? And why are you anxious to kill a woman? Purport. The earth appealed to the king in two ways. A king who knows the religious principles cannot kill anyone who has not committed sinful activities. Apart from this, a woman is not to be killed, even if she does commit some sinful activities. Since the earth was innocent and was also a woman, the king should not kill her. Praharanti navai strishu kritagasvapi jantava kemutatvar vidarajan karuna dinavatsala. Even if a woman does commit some sinful activity, no one should place his hands upon her. And what to speak of you, dear king, who are so merciful? You are a protector, and you are affectionate to the poor. Mam vipatya jaram navam yatra vishvam pratishtitam atmanam cha prajaschesh chema katam ambhasidasyasi. The cow-shaped earth continued, My dear king, I am just like a strong boat, and all the paraphernalia of the world is standing upon me. If you break me to pieces, how can you protect yourself and your subjects from drowning? Purport. Beneath the entire planetary system is the Garbha water. Lord Vishnu lies on this Garbha water, and from his abdomen a lotus stem grows, and all the planets within the universe are floating in the air, being supported by this lotus stem. If a planet is destroyed, it must fall into the water of Garbha. The earth therefore warned King Pṛthu that he could gain nothing by destroying her. Indeed, how would he protect himself and his citizens from drowning in the Garbha water? In other words, outer space may be compared to an ocean of air, and each and every planet is floating on it, just as a bore or islands float on the ocean. Sometimes planets are called dvipa, or islands, and sometimes they are called boats. Thus, the cosmic manifestation is partially explained in this reference by the cow-shaped earth. Pṛthuruvacha vasudetam vadishyami machasana paranmukhim bhagam parhishiya vrinkte natanoti chano vasu. King Pṛthu replied to the earthly planet, My dear earth, you have disobeyed my orders and rulings. In the form of a demigod, you accepted your share of the yagyas we performed, but in return, you have not produced sufficient food grains. For this reason, I must kill you. Purport. The cow-shaped earthly planet submitted that she was not only a woman, but was innocent and sinless as well. Thus she argued that she should not be killed. Besides, she pointed out that being perfectly religious-minded, the king could not violate the religious principles that forbade killing a woman. In reply, Maharaj Pṛthu informed her that first of all she had disobeyed his orders. This was her first sinful activity. Secondly, he accused her of taking her share of the yagyas, the sacrifices, but not producing sufficient food grains in return. Yavasam jagdanudinam naiva dogdo dashampaya tasyam evam hidushtayam danda natra nashasyate. Although you are eating green grass every day, you are not filling your milk bag so we can utilize your milk. Since you are willfully committing offenses, it cannot be said that you are not punishable due to your assuming the form of a cow. Purport. A cow eats green grasses in the pasture and fills her milk bag with sufficient milk so that the cowherdsmen can milk her. Yagyas, sacrifices, are performed to produce sufficient clouds that will pour over the earth. The word paya can refer both to milk and to water. As one of the demigods, the earthly planet was taking her share in the yagyas, that is, she was eating green grass. But in return, she was not producing sufficient food grains, that is, she was not filling her milk bag. Maharaj Pṛthu was therefore justified in threatening to punish her for her offense. Tvam kalavo Kalvoshadi bijani prakshishtani swayambhuva namunchasyat marudani mamavagyaya mandati. You have so lost your intelligence that, despite my orders, you do not deliver the seeds of herbs and grains formerly created by Brahma, and now hidden within yourself. Purport. While creating all the planets in the universe, Lord Brahma also created the seeds of various grains, herbs, plants, and trees. When sufficient water falls from the clouds, the seeds fructify and produce fruits, grains, vegetables, etc. By his example, Pṛthu Maharaj indicates that whenever there is a scarcity in food production, the head of the government should take steps to see why production is being held up and what should be done to rectify the situation. Amushangshut paritanam artanam paridevitam shamayishyami marbanar vinayastavametasa. Now, with the help of my arrows, I shall cut you to pieces, and with your flesh satisfy the hunger-stricken citizens who are now crying for want of grains. Thus I shall satisfy the crying citizens of my kingdom. Purport. Here we find some indication of how the government can arrange for the killing of cow flesh. It is here indicated that in a rare circumstance, when there is no supply of grains, the government may sanction the eating of meat. However, when there is sufficient food, the government should not allow the eating of cow's flesh just to satisfy the fastidious tongue. In other words, in rare circumstances, when people are suffering for want of grains, meat eating or flesh eating can be allowed, but not otherwise. The maintenance of slaughterhouses for the satisfaction of the tongue and the killing of animals unnecessarily should never be sanctioned by a government. As described in a previous verse, cows and other animals should be given sufficient grass to eat. If, despite a sufficient supply of grass, a cow does not supply milk, and if there is an acute shortage of food, the dried-up cow may be utilized to feed the hungry masses of people. According to the law of necessity, first of all, human society must try to produce food grains and vegetables. But if they fail in this, they can indulge in flesh eating. Otherwise not. As human society is presently structured, there is sufficient production of grains all over the world. Therefore, the opening of slaughterhouses cannot be supported. In some nations, there is so much surplus grain that sometimes extra grain is thrown into the sea, and sometimes the government forbids further production of grain. The conclusion is that the earth produces sufficient grain to feed the entire population, but the distribution of this grain is restricted due to trade regulations and a desire for profit. Consequently, in some places there is scarcity of grain, and in others, profuse production. If there were one government on the surface of the earth to handle the distribution of grain, there would be no question of scarcity, no necessity to open slaughterhouses, and no need to present false theories about overpopulation. Pumanyo shirutakliba atma sambhavano dhamma bhuteshu niranukrosho nripanam tadvado vada. Any cruel person, be he a man, woman, or impotent eunuch, who is only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. Purport. The planet Earth is actually a woman in her constitutional form, and as such, she needs to be protected by the king. Pṛthu Maharaj argues, however, that if a citizen within the state, be he a man, woman, or eunuch, is not compassionate upon his fellow men, he or she may be killed by the king, and such killing is never to be considered actual killing. As far as the field of spiritual activities is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna, he is not considered a first-class devotee. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories, he is not considered a first-class devotee. A devotee who tries to preach, who has compassion upon innocent persons who have no knowledge of Krishna, is a superior devotee. In his prayer to the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said that he was not personally interested in liberation from this material world. Rather, he did not wish to be liberated from this material condition until all fallen souls were delivered. Even in the material field, if a person is not interested in others' welfare, he should be considered to be condemned by the personality of Godhead or his incarnation, like Pṛthu Maharaj. Tam stabdham durmadam nitva mayagam tilashasharai atma yoga balenema dharayishyamnaham praja. You are very much puffed up with pride and have become almost insane. Presently you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic powers. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into small pieces like grain, and I will uphold the entire population by my personal mystic powers. Purport. The earth informed King Pṛthu that if he destroyed her, he and his subjects will all fall down into the waters of the Garbha ocean. King Pṛthu now replies to that point. Although the earth assumed the shape of a cow by her mystic powers in order to be saved from being killed by the king was aware of this fact and would not hesitate to cut her to pieces, just like small bits of grain. As far as the destruction of the citizens is concerned, Maharaj Pṛthu maintains that he could uphold everyone by his own mystic powers. He did not need the help of the earthly planet. Being the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Pṛthu Maharaj possessed the power of Sankarshan, which is explained by the scientists as the power of gravitation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any support. Similarly, Pṛthu Maharaj would not have had any difficulty supporting all his citizens and himself in space with the help of the planet Earth. The Lord is known as Yogeshwar, the master of all mystic powers. Consequently, the planet Earth was informed by the king that she need not worry about his standing without her help. Eva manyo maye murtem kritantam eva bibratam pranata pranjali praha mahi sanjatave patu. At this time, Pṛthu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj, and his whole body appeared very angry. In other words, he was anger personified. After hearing him, the planet Earth began to tremble. She surrendered and with folded hands began to speak as follows. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is death personified to miscreants and the Supreme Beloved and he is the Supreme Beloved Lord to the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita 10:34, the Lord says, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am all devouring death. Faithless unbelievers who challenge the appearance of God will be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he appears before them as death. Hiranyakashipu, for example, challenged the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Lord met him in the form of Nrsingadeva and killed him. Similarly, the planet Earth saw Maharaj Pṛthu as death personified, and she also saw him in the mood of anger personified. Therefore she began to tremble. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in any circumstance. It is better to surrender unto him and to take his protection at all times. Dharo vacha nama parasmai purushaya mayaya vinyastanana tanave gunatmane nama sarupano bhavena nirduta dravya kriya karaka vibramormaye. The planet Earth spoke. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are transcendental in your position, and by your material energy, You've expanded yourself in various forms and species of life through the interaction of the three modes of material nature. Unlike some other masters, you always remain in your transcendental position and are not affected by the material creation, which is subject to different material interactions. Consequently, you are not bewildered by material activities. Purport. After King Pṛthu gave his royal commands, the planet Earth in the shape of a cow could understand that the king was a directly empowered incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the king knew everything, past, present, and future. Thus, there was no possibility of the earth's cheating him. The earth was accused of hiding the seeds of all herbs and grains, and therefore she is preparing to explain how the seeds of these herbs and grains can be again exposed. The earth knew that the king was very angry with her, and she realized that unless she pacified his anger, there was no possibility of placing a positive program before him. Therefore, in the beginning of her speech, she very humbly presents herself as a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's body. She submits that the various bodily forms manifest in the physical world are but different parts and parcels of the Supreme Gigantic Body. It is said that the lower planetary systems are parts and parcels of the legs of the Lord, whereas the upper planetary systems are parts and parcels of the Lord's head. The Lord creates this material world by his external energy, but this external energy is in one sense not different from him. Yet, at the same time, the Lord is not directly manifest in the external energy, but is always situated in the spiritual energy. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya Dakshena Prakriti, material nature is working under the direction of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is not unattached to the external energy, and he is addressed in this verse as Guna Atma, the source of the three modes of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.15, Nirgunam Guna Bhoktri Cha. Although the Lord is not attached to the external energy, he is nonetheless the master of it. The philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, upholding that the Lord is simultaneously one with and different from his creation, Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, is very easily understandable in this connection. The planet Earth explains that although the Lord is attached to the external energy, he is nirdut. He is completely free from the activities of the external energy. The Lord is always situated in his internal energy. Therefore, in this verse it is stated, Sarup Anubhavena. The Lord remains completely in his internal potency, and yet has full knowledge of the external energy as well as the internal energy, just as his devotee remains always in a transcendental position, keeping himself in the service of the Lord without becoming attached to the material body. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the devotee who is always engaged in devotional service of the Lord is always liberated, regardless of his material situation. If it is possible for a devotee to remain transcendental, it is certainly possible for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to remain in his internal potency without being attached to the external potency. There should be no difficulty in understanding this situation. Just as a devotee is never bewildered by his material body, the Lord is never bewildered by the external energy of this material world. A devotee is not hampered by the material body, although he is situated in a physical body that runs according to so many material conditions, just as there are 5 kinds of air functioning within the body and so many organs, the hands, the legs, tongues, genitals, rectum, etc., all working differently. The spirit soul, the living entity, who is in full knowledge of his position, is always engaged in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and is not concerned with the bodily functions. Although the Lord is connected with the material world, he is always situated in his spiritual energy and is always unattached to the functions of the material world. As far as the material body is concerned, there are 6 waves, or symptomatic material conditions: hunger, thirst, lamentation, bewilderment, old age, and death. The liberated soul is never concerned with these 6 physical interactions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being the all-powerful master of all energies, has some connection with the external energy, but he is always free from the interactions of the external energy in the material world. Yenahamatmayatam vinirmita datrayato yam gunasarga sangraha sa eva mam hantum udayuda swarad upastito nyam sharanam kamashaye. The planet Earth continued, "My dear Lord, you are the complete conductor of the material creation. You have created this cosmic manifestation and the three material qualities, and therefore you have created me, the planet Earth, the resting place of all living entities. Yet you are always fully independent, my Lord. Now that you are present before me and ready to kill me with your weapons, let me know where I should go to take shelter, and tell me who can give me protection." Purport. The planet Earth herein exhibits the symptoms of full surrender before the Lord. As stated, no one can protect the person whom Krishna is prepared to kill, and no one can kill the person whom Krishna protects. Krishna mare rakeke, Krishna mare rakeke. Because the Lord is prepared to kill the planet Earth, there is no one to give protection to her. We are all receiving protection from the Lord, and it is therefore proper that every one of us surrender unto him. In Bhagavad Gita 18:66, the Lord instructs, "Sarva dharma parityaja mamikam sharanam braja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha." Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, "My dear Lord, whatever I have, even in my mind, the center of all material necessities, namely my home, my body, and whatever I have in connection with this body, I now surrender unto you. Manasa deha geho joki chamor arpilo tua pade nanda kishore." You are now completely independent to act however you like. If you like, you can kill me, and if you like, you can save me. Marobi rakobi jogi chatohar. Nitya dasa. In any case, I am your eternal servant, and you have every right to do whatever you like. Nitya dasa prati tua adhikar. Ya etaradav asrijach characharam samayayatma shayaya vitarkaya tayaiva samyam kila goptam udyata katam numam dharma parojikangshati. In the beginning of creation, you created all these moving and non-moving living entities by your inconceivable energy. Through this very same energy, you are now prepared to protect the living entities. Indeed, you are the supreme protector of religious principles. Why are you so anxious to kill me, even though I am in the form of a cow? Purport. The planet Earth argues that there is no doubt that one who creates can also annihilate by his sweet will. The planet Earth questions why she should be killed when the Lord is prepared to give protection to everyone. After all, it is the Earth that is the resting place for all other living entities, and it is the Earth that produces grains for them. Nunam pateshasya samihitam janais tanmayaya durjayaya kritatmabi nalakshate yastvat karod akarayat Yoneka eka paratascha ishvara. My dear Lord, although you are one, by your inconceivable potencies you have expanded yourself in many forms. Through the agency of Brahma, you have created this universe. You are therefore directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are not sufficiently experienced cannot understand your transcendental activities because these persons are covered by your illusory energy. Purport. God is one, but he expands himself in a variety of energies: the material energy, the spiritual energy, the marginal energy, and so forth. Unless one is favored and especially endowed with grace, he cannot understand how the one Supreme Personality of Godhead acts through his different energies. The living entities are also the marginal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma is also one of these living entities, but he is especially empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Brahma is supposed to be the creator of this universe, actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead is its ultimate creator. In this verse, the word Mayaya is significant. Maya means energy. Lord Brahma is not the energetic, but is one of the manifestations of the Lord's marginal energy. In other words, Lord Brahma is only an instrument. Although sometimes plans appear contradictory, there is a definite plan behind all action. One who is experienced and is favored by the Lord can understand that everything is being done according to the Lord's supreme plan. Sargadiyosyanurunati shaktibir dravya kriya karaka chetanatmabhi tasmai samunata niruddha shaktaye nama parasmai purushaya vedase. My dear Lord, by your own potencies, you are the original cause of the material elements, as well as the performing instruments, the senses, the workers of the senses, the controlling demigods, the intelligence and the ego, as well as everything else. By your energy, you manifest the entire cosmic creation, maintain it, and dissolve it. Through your energy alone, everything is sometimes manifest and sometimes not manifest. You are therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. All activities begin with the creation of the total energy, the Mahat Tattva. Then, by the agitation of the three gunas, the physical elements are created, as well as the mind, ego, and the controllers of the senses. All of these are created one after another by the inconceivable energy of the Lord. In modern electronics, a mechanic may, by pushing only one button, set off an electric chain reaction, by which so many actions are carried out by one after another. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead pushes the button of creation, and different energies creates the material elements and various controllers of the physical elements, and their subsequent interactions follow the inconceivable plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Savai Bhavan Atma Vinirmitam Jagat Bhutendriyanta Karanatmakam Vibho Sangstapayishyan Ajamam Rasatalar Adyujahar Rambhasa Adi Sukara. My dear Lord, you are always unborn. Once, in the form of the original boar, you rescued me from the waters in the bottom of the universe. Through your own energy, you created all the physical elements, the senses, and the heart for the maintenance of the world. Purport. This refers to the time when Lord Krishna appeared as the supreme boar Varaha and rescued the earth which had been merged in water. The Asura Hiranyaksha had dislocated the earth from its orbit and thrown it beneath the waters of the Garbhodaka ocean. Then the Lord, in the shape of the original boar, rescued the earth. Apamapaste maina vyavastita prajabhavan adya ririkshishu kila savira murti samabhutaradharo yo mam payasya yugra sharo jikankshasi. My dear Lord, in this way you once protected me by rescuing me from the water, and consequently your name has been famous as Dharadhara, he who holds the planet Earth. Yet at the present moment, in the form of a great hero, you are about to kill me with sharpened arrows. I am, however, just like a boat on the water, keeping everything afloat. Purport. The Lord is known as Dharadhara, meaning he who keeps the planet Earth on his tusks as the boar incarnation. Thus the planet Earth in the shape of a cow is accounting the contradictory acts of the Lord. Although he once saved the earth, he now wants to upset the earth, which is like a boat on the water. No one can understand the activities of the Lord. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, human beings sometimes think the Lord's activities contradictory. Nunam janayari hitam ishvaranam asmar vidaistar gunasargamayaya nagyayate mohita chittavartmabis tebhyo namo vira yashaskarebhya. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood, and what to speak of your pastimes. Thus, everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful. Purport. The activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various forms and incarnations are always uncommon and wonderful. It is not possible for a tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has said that unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. The Lord is eternally existing as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Goloka Vrindavan. He has also simultaneously expanded himself in innumerable forms, beginning with Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimha, Lord Varaha, and all the incarnations coming directly from Sankarshan. Sankarshan is the expansion of Baladev, and Baladev is the first manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, all these incarnations are known as Kala. The word Ishvaranam refers to all the personalities of Godhead. As stated in Brahma Samhita 539, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishnan. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is confirmed that all the incarnations are partial expansions, or Kala, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not take the plural number of the word Ishvaranam to mean that there are many Godheads. The fact is that God is one, but he exists eternally and expands himself in innumerable forms and acts in various ways. Sometimes the common man is bewildered by all this and considers such activities contradictory. But they are not contradictory. There is a great plan behind all the Lord's activities. For our understanding, it is sometimes said that the Lord is situated in the heart of the thief, as well as in the heart of a householder. But the super soul in the heart of the thief dictates, go and steal things from that particular house. And at the same time, the Lord tells the householder, now be careful of thieves and burglars. These instructions to different persons appear contradictory, yet we should know that the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has some plan, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead wholeheartedly, and, being protected by him, remain peaceful. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 17th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Maharaj Pṛthu Becomes Angry at the Earth. And tomorrow we're going to read about, the earth advises Pṛthu on the method to milk her. Seeing Pṛthu not satisfied, the earth spoke. By following prescribed methods, anyone can achieve desired results, not otherwise. The earth explains the reason for hiding the seeds. Take the seeds out by the standard method. Make me level to conserve the rainwater. Then Pṛthu and others milk the earth. And then there's the establishment of planned cities by Pṛthu. Anyhow, we'll read this all tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. I'm just saying this comment here. Dhara Dhara, yeah, Dhara Dhara is used in Rupa Goswami's Chitra Kavya as a description of Giridhari. And the whole poem becomes Radha's name hidden. Yeah, there's, I learned the first one. Srila Rupa Goswami wrote, there's a whole bunch of different sections of Chitra Kavitva, but there's one section where he just uses a couple syllables and writes a whole poem with just a couple syllables. I learned the first one. It's Rasa Sara Sasarur, Rasa Sara Sasarurur, Asu Sari Sasarasa, Sangsarasi Rasorase, Sariransu Sasarasa. And then, yeah, there's one that's like dara 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 dara. Yeah, he just picks two consonants and then along with vowels. So that one I did was with sa and ra, and then another one he does with ra and ta. Yeah. Haribo. Jai Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Shila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jeev Gopal Patadashugunath Char Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanantari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachar Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradakta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Varuthini Akarashi Titi Ki Jai. Titi Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And actually, you know, in Badger, they just read this part. They've been reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for a while. They're not reading it so fast like we are. they're just doing, you know, a couple verses a day. But they got to this part of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and I was just speaking with my mother on the phone a couple days ago, and she was a bit disturbed about this part. Like, she was wondering, why is Maharaj Pṛthu chasing after the earth and like ready to kill her without even talking with her or understanding what the problem was, why she was hiding all these grains. And the way my mother reconciled, like the way that made my mother feel peaceful after she was like chanting and meditating about it, is she I forgot what she said. Oh my God. She was saying that, you know, that the earth, this is showing, you know, also how one should behave, like how the earth didn't, you know, she wasn't challenging Maharaj Pṛthu and like, you know, fighting with him or anything, but she you know, she came to him in a mood of surrender, you know, and Sharanagati. So this is showing also, you know, how in this world we're misbehaving, we're not doing what we should be doing, and we're always trying to avoid all these you know, punishments that come to us and everything. But this is showing how we should surrender, you know, and stop trying to defend ourselves and you know, like that. But we should just, anyways, that's the teaching that my mother got from it. I'm not sure if I explained that nicely, exactly how she was saying it. And also, I was just thinking from
It's 8 o'clock.
From Maharaj Pṛthu's perspective, all the inhabitants of the earth were starving, and it was his job to look after. He was responsible for all the inhabitants of the earth, and so, you know, when people are all starving and dying, and you know, like the whole world, and so, and just because of one person, the whole world is suffering like that. People are starving and dying. So then, and it was for, you know, like she could be giving everybody grains, but she wasn't, and so that's a really big deal. And so that's why, and he never actually like was, like, he could have probably just in a second shot an arrow and killed her. He didn't have to like just run around the whole universe chasing after her forever. You know, he was always right behind her, but he didn't actually kill her. He was threatening her, and so yeah, I don't know. That was just some ways of reconciling it that I thought of. Anyhow, all right, Haribol.